So while you Google that, I want to put it towards you guys. So what's interesting is I only just found out about this recently because one of the other content creators is from that area. And I did not know this. That airport owns like quite a few miles of land in every direction outside of the airport.
For crash landings.
No. No airports do that.
Sure, Toronto does.
I think I just destroyed it.
It doesn't own miles. Here. Definitely not.
Yeah,
no.
it's like
100 meters. Yeah.
So this owns like you can't build anything within miles of this airport.
That's why when we landed there, you look like you're landing in a farm field.
Yeah, and when we landed, I thought we were gonna die. I was like, are we crash landing somewhere?
Where else are they gonna hide the bodies?
So like that's the interesting thing is like why do they need that much land? No other airport does that. I get it's in the middle of nowhere. It's just all countryside, but like
country roads.
The thing that really gets me is this New World Airport Commission. That's an actual plaque in the airport. Okay, one sec. I'm gonna search Denver. I spelled Denver with an M. Oops. Off to a good start.
Denver.
Denver Airport murals. Here we go.
But yeah, the tunnel systems make no sense. Like, why would an airport need miles of tunnel systems that are legit? They're there
and they're not public.
No.
Like, look at this one.
Dude,
like,
the
that's
miles
a good
of
example.
land is definitely just like bunkers galore.
It's like a Nazi-style soldier, like carrying like looks like Middle Eastern or like something like
with a rainbow.
People with a rainbow and a sword and an AK. Like, why would you put that up in the airport?
And like a
gas mask and shit. Like there's like
and then
all
like people dying going in it, and like
there's like souls being trapped in some part of it.
I need to see this.
It's just like, why is that in? Why would you put that in an airport?
It makes no sense.
It's like you think airport art is gonna be like,
oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
that's
man.
in the airport, and it's like you'd think airport art is gonna be like generic, like like just trees and shit, not like really threatening and like apocalyptic images like that.
To be fair, the only way I can justify this is Colorado has always been known for being very liberal and being like they're the first
state to legalize weed and all that
like,
stuff.
Maybe it's just like all about being like new age.
But like that's been there for a while though. Like they built this thing like years and years ago.
Why are there like ghouls going into the
I don't know.
distance of the ruined buildings?
It's like I don't really understand the like who. I kind of want like. Again, I'll do this in my own time, but I kind of want to delve into like who made these paintings and like why they were commissioned.
Rob, you were supposed to have that ready for today.
Yeah,
well, like
that was his whole homework.
Well, like I was just surface level touch. Now that I'm
you did great work.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Shane. I get recognized by.
I
was gonna say half, but I guess I'm the other half in that case.
So the conspiracy theory here is that it's owned by like basically the Illuminati or
the New World Airport Commission, which is probably like an alias of the Illuminati. Also, remember to tell Annie this isn't Google that her homepage is set to. It's some like weird ass bootleg website.
The fuck?
That's you click homepage. It's not Google. That's whatever that is.
It looks like. Wait, I want to use it.
And now we know why they have your phone number.
Look at the screen it goes to when you're home. It's not Google. It's like some website pretending to be Google. It's kind of sketchy.
So what do you think? Like, why do you think it's set up the way it is?
My take is that there's definitely something fishy going on. Maybe not to the extent
that's
of
the most
like,
generic response.
Well, it's like not to the extent of that it's an Illuminati headquarters, but like it was built for a reason other than strictly the utility of being an airport. Because like, what's all like? Why is it so big? Like it's like a capacity is like 10 times the amount of flight traffic they get in one day. And then all these underground tunnels, which are actual things, someone's like been down there and seen them. And then all this like doomsday, like apocalypse art, that giant blue stallion with red eyes. Like who thought that was a good idea?
That stallion's messed up.
Yeah.
Man.
The fact that
it glows red at night as well, which is creepy.
Like why?
Like when you're flying in, you see the eyes.
Stallion. I don't think that's creepy at all. Like the Broncos, they're things literally that.
Yeah, but
that
like,
stallion.
why are the eyes red?
Well, that's just an artist thing. It's a blue stallion.
Yeah. The horse thing, like that doesn't bug me at all.
Denver Broncos, I guess that's fair. But everything else, though, like
the tunnels, like it just makes no sense. Why does an airport need tunnels?
Yeah,
and the land doesn't even bug me. Maybe when they bought the land, it was cheap, so they bought all of it and around. Like, do you know what I mean? That doesn't even.
Yeah, but I agree. But the actual airport itself is just humongous, and that's like what I can't wrap my head around.
So it is. You said it's the biggest hub airport, right?
The biggest transportation hub in North America. According to that website, which could be, which also is trying to be Google, but so you never know how legit it is. But
I'm trying to think, like, so if it were commissioned by like a huge Illuminati type organization, like if it's a hub, maybe it's just they wanted it to be like their destination.
Well,
for if anything
why
happens.
Denver?
But like, why make it so obvious? That's the thing. Is like all that art. If it is meant to be like a apocalypse place, why would they like advertise that? Why would they be like, we have a apocalypse bunker here?
They're using reverse psychology. They want you to say, why is it so obvious? They're like, oh, it's all bullshit. But like, they're like, fuck, you guys actually nailed it, but you're not going to think
hidden
you
in
nailed
plain
it.
sight. The best
Exactly.
way to hide it. I don't know. Like, I think there's definitely like
Something fishy going on.
some fishy in it, but it was like it was designed to not just be an airport. To be some kind of like safe haven for the Illuminati people to go when the world ends.
Was there any like photos of the actual bunkers? And
No,
stuff,
I couldn't
or is it all
find any.
just-
So
So what's the proof then of like
just
we know?
some guy said that like they've seen it again. It's just some dude saying it, but like he says he saw the
This is why
blueprints.
it's
It's
a
conspiracy
conspiracy.
theory,
Yeah.
man. It doesn't have to be
I
concrete.
know, but like you're like just proof that it exists. Where's the proof? He just
Some guy saw it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. You keep discussing this.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's nuts, man.
I think it's definitely like some sort of like nuke shelter, if I had to guess. Or like maybe they do experiments with like lizard people and
They
shit.
definitely had their hands in Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
What happened in Malaysia? Just
Drop it.
they just happen to have their hands in there. All right, Shane, hit us with yours.
Christian's
It
research.
is with them
I
hard
said keep
facts,
going, bro.
Okay. So how about that Denver International Airport? It's kind of sketchy.
Yo,
I had to
heard
sprint
it's
across it
real
once.
big, man.
They got some good burritos though.
You guys, you guys been there?
Me and Senor.
Senor.
Senor shithead.
It was funny. So I had to sprint across, me and Hannah, and like I went upstairs, grabbed some burritos, and then we had to literally run through the plane. And like as we're like going up the escalator, I just see Christian with some servant just pushing him across the airport. He's in his wheelchair. I'm like, are you fucking kidding
I
me?
told that guy. I was just like, I can do it. He's like, no.
Just taking Christian, but they're walking at like a snail's pace, and me and Hannah are like, dude, we're gonna be late. We have to go get food. We didn't even have time. We bought the burrito, sat down on the airplane, ate the burrito.
Just
And
attach a rope to Christian.
Christian's just fucking going by on his wheelchair.
Just attach a rope to him and
Shane's
just drag him.
like, Christian, I need time to go get a burrito. Slow this guy down as much. Christian's just like holding on the brakes casually.
Guy's like, man, you're pretty heavy, eh?
Wait,
was actually the
why'd
worst-
you have an escort?
Because I was in a wheelchair still at the time with my
they-
sprained ankle.
So you don't bring a wheelchair on the plane. They literally have one waiting for you, and
Yeah.
then they drop you at the next plane.
What?
So we had like 20
You need to
minutes.
ride one of those cars?
No.
Well,
They just
once.
Oh, right.
In Toronto,
yeah.
we had like 30 minutes to get from one end to the other, and the airport's fucking huge.
So you're telling me.
And our plane literally landed on one far end, and we had to get on the plane at the exact opposite. It was so
You're
annoying.
telling me they spent so much money on underground bunkers that they couldn't afford a car to travel Christian around.
No,
And-
but they
and
could
artwork.
afford this dude. He's probably more expensive than the car. The guy was
Probably.
very professional.
You probably charge us by the hour.
He's
wouldn't
got like
take-
white gloves. What you like now?
He would not take no for an answer. I was just like, Annie's gonna go grab like food. Like I can just wait for her. You can go. He's like, no, I'll sit here. And he just sat behind me, and, like stared at me.
Everyone probably thinks he's like your handler or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like-
what I did. Yeah.
I was like, you don't have to wait here. Like I can take care of myself. Like I'm not disabled.
Yes, you are, sir. Yes, you are.
This guy's probably watching, being like, "That ungrateful fuck." I
Yeah,
pushed him around
exactly.
the whole airport.
Christian's just like throwing $1 bills at him.
Well, maybe he's one of the lizard people. Who knows?
Could be.
Could be.
What the fuck, guys?
So to go back on the Denver thing, a direct quote from their spokesperson said when they were like adding more construction or whatever, that it's like though we aren't expanding the bunkers or revamping the lizard lair with this project, we want to have some fun with our construction messaging and embrace the conspiracy theories. And like in all their construction messaging, it's just like under construction or underground tunnels and stuff like that. Like trying to like play on it.
Lizard lair.
This literally just proves what Drew said. He's like just hiding it in
Like,
plain
haha,
sight.
it's totally not
Good
real.
one.
It's like
And you see this big boring machine come in and start digging a hole. Like
you see like a tentacle pop up from the floor.
I feel like though if they had the underground tunnels, there'd have to be like you can get blueprints of buildings.
Yeah, like the elevations and shit.
Wouldn't there be blueprints?
Man,
of
you
that?
wouldn't get the legit ones.
You'd probably get like
they give you the
doctored
blueprints
up
they want
ones.
you to
Yeah.
see.
Wait, also like so who owns the airport?
the New World Airport Commission, whoever the fuck that is.
I thought airports were all like government run, are they not?
Toronto's is privately owned.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pearson Airport's
Owned.
privately owned.
Who's it? Who owns it?
Pearson.
Pearson, whoever that is.
Mr. Pearson himself.
Lester-
no, I have no idea. It's a
Lester B.
company, but yeah.
I had no idea about that. Oh. That makes a lot more sense that they could get away with stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that if the U.S. government owned it, it would probably be like either a canceled project or
Area
budget
51.
anyways. Or Area 51.
Oh, actually, that reminded me. Speaking of the Denver airport and all that stuff, New World stuff, is there is a statue, I guess you can call it, in the U.S. somewhere, which is just like it's a giant obelisk, and it just has a bunch of text on it of like talking about humanity, like as it is now. And
where is it? Where's this thing? Missouri? Is that one?
I don't know, just somewhere in the U.S. And then so it has it in a bunch of different languages, and like all of the sides are covered. There's a bunch of ruins around it as well with other texts on there, and it's like trying to tell people what society is like and like how to survive, and like I guess having instructions for things to like live. And no one knows who paid for it. It's just like an art structure that is there. Someone paid to make it. And it's supposed to be like helping the world in case of a apocalypse, something like that. And I think they said like the only evidence they have is something about like a new world something owning it. So like
so just some giant like structure with a bunch of text written all over it.
The airport people made that too.
with instructions on like how to survive in society.
It's probably like
post-apocalypse.
It's probably just like revert back to communism. It's probably a Russian plan.
They planted it.
But like, so
Make it look old enough.
So it's not like out of the possibility that like some type of new world organization would try to do something surviving the apocalypse. But it seems weird that they wouldn't publicly address it.
I definitely maybe it's just because we're talking about conspiracy theories, but now the more I think about it, there's got to be some kind of like behind the scenes organization just like governing all the stuff that we can't explain.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
We will get there.
One of these days. We just need like an Edward Snowden, but like on a conspiracy level person or conspiracy.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. Like, how did that not raise more eyebrows? Well, I'm sure it did, but like,
What, Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah,
It raised so many.
everyone
Everyone
like
was.
everyone kind of said, "Oh shit."
It was after the fact though.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh shit, something's fishy."
And
Let's
he
not
was
do anything about it.
he was getting investigated like a decade ago.
And then
But
he
it
just,
took him this long. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm sure people were paid off. I'm sure.
it's just I don't know. It makes no sense how like so no one was like again. Forgive me if this did happen and then I'm just naive, but like no one investigated it and no one came to a conclusion that something sketchy happened. And,
Well,
there, was,
they
It just took
investigated
so
it.
long to figure it all out.
and there was no next
No,
steps.
you mean
though?
like after he died, right?
Yeah, like
investigating his
no one
death.
like no one got arrested. There was no like
Yeah, they investigated. They determined that it wasn't it hanging, but it was like
Yeah.
suspicious.
They said it was suicide by hanging,
But
and then all that stuff came out about like how he was on suicide watch and he was left alone, and then
But the coroner was like, it's weird because there's like a specific bone that only breaks in your neck if you're like strangled, and like when you hang, it doesn't break.
So,
And
yeah.
like that specific bone in the neck was busted, and they're like, well, like 90% of people who are hung don't have this bone broken, but this guy does. So
Yeah.
they're like, but that just fed to the conspiracy.
and the camera's being erased.
That
Like,
part's
what the fuck?
That part's like,
how does
okay,
no one
come
be
on,
like?
guys.
How does no one realize?
well, so the whole issue was like
are you kidding me?
they obviously know like it's suspicious, but what do you do? Like if you have no
Like
idea,
investigate it. But like that.
There's nothing you can do though.
But at that point, it's like you're investigating yourself almost because it's like
Yeah, and that's
Am I the corrupt one? Wait a second.
and that's the whole point. Is that the people who are investigating are obviously the ones who are involved. So it's like you can't do anything about that. They can
Like-
just destroy all their own evidence.
I guess the bottom line is like one scummy person died to save tons of other scummy people. But
Speaking of
True.
Steens, Harvey Weinstein, guilty.
you gotta keep.
Oh, really?
What do you call
Guilty
that?
of rape and sexual assault.
Do you call that indicted when they get like accused?
Abducted.
Abducted.
Abducted to jail.
Abducted.
So he-
Apparently, some of the more serious charges he wasn't found guilty of, but
Because that was like
Gotta
that was
count
one
your
of the big
dubs where they
questions. Was like he got accused of how many? Like hundreds.